What if I told you that thousands of retirees across America just discovered an extra payment hitting their bank accounts this October, and most people have no idea why? The Social Security Administration just rolled out something that's catching everyone off guard, and the timing couldn't be more critical for those who've been watching their retirement savings stretch thinner each month. Here's what's actually happening. Due to the way payment schedules align this year, certain beneficiaries are receiving what appears to be an extra check in October. But this isn't some government giveaway or mistake. It's a calendar quirk that happens when monthly payments fall on specific days. For those living on fixed incomes, this unexpected timing can mean the difference between struggling through the month and having a little breathing room. The confusion is real, and the misinformation spreading online isn't helping. Some folks think it's a bonus, others worry it's an error they'll have to pay back. Neither is true. Understanding exactly who qualifies for this payment pattern, when to expect it, and how to plan your finances around it could save you from unnecessary stress and help you make smarter decisions with your benefits. Let's break down exactly what the Social Security Administration announced and what it means for your wallet. Now, before we dive into the specifics of what's happening with these October payments, let me paint you a picture of what's been going on behind the scenes at the Social Security Administration. You see, every single year, millions of Americans rely on their Social Security benefits to arrive like clockwork, and for the most part, the system works pretty smoothly. But what most people don't realize is that the SSA operates on a complex payment schedule that's been in place for decades, and when certain calendar dates line up in just the right way, something interesting happens that can actually work in your favor. This October is one of those special months, and if you understand how this works, you're going to be way ahead of the game compared to your neighbors who might be scratching their heads wondering what's going on with their accounts. Let me take you back to how the Social Security payment system actually works, because understanding this is crucial to making sense of what's happening right now. The Social Security Administration doesn't just send out checks randomly or all on the same day. Instead, they've developed a systematic approach based on your birth date, and this system determines exactly when your money hits your account each month. If you were born between the 1st and the 10th of any month, your payment typically arrives on the second Wednesday. If your birthday falls between the 11th and the 20th, you're looking at the third Wednesday. And if you were born between the 21st and the 31st, your payment comes on the fourth Wednesday of each month. Now, there's also a special group of people who receive their payments on the 3rd of every month. And these are folks who started collecting benefits before May of 1997, or people who receive both Social Security and Supplemental Security income. This group operates on a completely different schedule, and that's actually where some of the confusion is coming from this October. Here's where things get really interesting, and this is the part that's causing all the buzz right now. When you look at the calendar for October, you'll notice something unusual. The way the dates fall this year means that some beneficiaries who normally receive their November payment at the beginning of November are actually going to see that money arrive in late October instead. This isn't a mistake, and it's not the government deciding to be extra generous. It's simply how the payment calendar works when the first of the month falls on a weekend or a federal holiday. The Social Security Administration has a long-standing policy that if your scheduled payment date falls on a weekend or holiday, they automatically move that payment to the last business day before that weekend or holiday. So what people are calling an extra check in October is actually their November payment, arriving a few days early because November 1st happens to fall on a Saturday this year. Now, I know what you're thinking. You might be wondering why this is such a big deal if it's just a payment arriving a few days early. Well, let me explain why this matters so much, especially for people who are managing their monthly budgets down to the penny. When you're living on a fixed income, you've probably got your entire month planned out based on when that Social Security check hits your account. You know exactly when your mortgage or rent is due, when your utility bills need to be paid, and when you need to buy groceries. Your whole financial life revolves around that payment schedule. So when suddenly you see what looks like two payments in the same month, it can throw everything off balance. Some people see that extra money sitting in their account and think they can spend it freely, not realizing that they're actually looking at next month's payment sitting there early. This can lead to a real problem come November when they're expecting another payment and it doesn't arrive because they already received it in October. The confusion doesn't stop there though. There's another layer to this situation that's got people talking, and it involves the annual cost of living adjustment that everyone's been waiting to hear about. Every year, the Social Security Administration announces the COLA increase, which is designed to help your benefits keep pace with inflation. This year's announcement came with some surprises, and when you combine that news with the timing of these October payments, you can see why people are getting mixed messages and feeling overwhelmed by all the information coming at them. The COLA for 2025 was announced at 2.5%, which is lower than the 3.2% increase people received for 2024. Now, a 2.5% increase might not sound like much when you break it down, but for someone receiving the average retirement benefit of around $1,900 a month, that translates to an extra $47 or so each month starting in January. That might not seem like a fortune, but over the course of a year, it adds up to more than $500 in additional income. What's really important to understand here is how these payment timing issues intersect with your overall financial planning. You see, when you receive your November payment early in October, you're essentially getting a head start on the next month, but you've got to be smart about how you handle that money. This is actually a golden opportunity to get ahead on your bills, maybe pay something early, or even set a little bit aside for emergencies. But the key is recognizing that this isn't bonus money or free cash that you can blow through without consequences. It's your regular payment that's just arriving on a different schedule because of how the calendar worked out this year. And here's something else that's crucial to keep in mind. This same pattern is going to repeat itself several times throughout the year, whenever the first of the month falls on a weekend or holiday. So if you understand how to manage this situation now, you'll be better prepared every time it happens in the future. Let me talk about some of the myths and misconceptions that are floating around out there, because there's a lot of bad information circulating on social media and even in some news reports. First off, some people are claiming that this October payment is a special stimulus check or some kind of emergency assistance program. That's absolutely not true. The federal government hasn't authorized any additional stimulus payments for Social Security beneficiaries beyond the regular COLA adjustments. What you're seeing is simply the regular payment schedule doing what it's designed to do. Another myth going around is that you have to apply for this extra payment or take some special action to receive it. Again, that's completely false. If you're entitled to receive your payment early because of the calendar, it will happen automatically. You don't need to call the Social Security Administration, you don't need to fill out any forms, and you definitely shouldn't be giving your personal information to anyone who claims they can help you get this money faster. The SSA handles all of this behind the scenes, and your payment will arrive exactly when it's supposed to based on the official payment calendar. There's also been some confusion about whether receiving this early payment affects your taxes or your benefit amount going forward. Let me set the record straight on this. Getting your payment a few days early doesn't change anything about your tax situation. You're still receiving the same total amount of money over the course of the year. It's just arriving on a slightly different schedule. When tax time rolls around, you'll report your Social Security income the same way you always do, based on the form SSA 1099 that you'll receive in January. As far as your future benefits go, receiving an early payment doesn't reduce what you'll get in subsequent months. Your benefit amount is locked in based on your work history and the age at which you started claiming benefits, and a calendar quirk like this doesn't change any of those fundamental calculations. Now, let's talk about some practical strategies for managing the situation and making the most of it. If you're one of the people receiving your November payment in October, think of this as a chance to reset your financial calendar and maybe get ahead on some obligations. Consider paying your November bills as soon as you receive this payment. That way, when you get to November and you don't see another payment because you already received it, you won't be caught off guard. Your bills will already be paid and you can relax knowing that you're covered. Another smart move is to use this opportunity to build up your emergency fund if you don't already have one. Even setting aside $20 or $30 from this early payment can start to create a cushion that'll protect you when unexpected expenses pop up. And believe me, unexpected expenses always pop up eventually, whether it's a medical bill, a car repair, or something breaking down in your house. For those of you who receive supplemental security income in addition to your regular Social Security benefits, there's an extra layer of complexity here that you need to understand. SSI payments follow a completely different schedule than regular Social Security, retirement, or disability benefits. SSI payments are always scheduled for the first of the month, which means they're more frequently affected by this weekend and holiday rule. If you're receiving both types of benefits, you need to track each payment separately and understand that they might arrive on different dates. This can make budgeting even trickier, but the principle remains the same. Know when your money is coming, plan accordingly, and don't spend next month's payment just because it arrived early this month. Here's something else that doesn't get talked about enough: the psychological impact of these payment schedule changes. When you've been receiving your benefits on the same day every month for years or even decades, any change to that routine can be unsettling. You might find yourself checking your bank account more frequently, worrying that something went wrong, or feeling anxious about whether you calculated your budget correctly. That anxiety is completely normal and valid. The best remedy is knowledge and preparation. By understanding exactly how the payment calendar works and marking those special months on your calendar in advance, you can eliminate that uncertainty and stress. The Social Security Administration actually publishes the entire payment schedule for the year ahead of time, and you can find it right on their website. Taking just a few minutes to review that calendar and mark down when your payments will arrive each month can save you a tremendous amount of worry and confusion. One thing I want to emphasize is that you're not alone in feeling confused or overwhelmed by all of this. The Social Security system is incredibly complex, and even people who've been receiving benefits for years sometimes struggle to understand all the rules and nuances. The important thing is to stay informed, ask questions when you're not sure about something, and never be afraid to reach out to the Social Security Administration directly if you need clarification. Their representatives are there to help you, and it's much better to get accurate information straight from the source than to rely on rumors or assumptions that might lead you astray. Remember, your Social Security benefits are money that you earned through decades of hard work, and you have every right to understand exactly how and when you'll receive them.